Man's duty versus feminist narrative. This is important. Let's go to that 352. We have about 3 more that I want to get to, and then I'm going to sum up.
For example, the feminist narrative is that I'm a controlling man who wants control over women. The actual truth is I'm a protective man who wants to protect. And being a man in a position of protecting is not always a good thing. I feel indebted and have a duty to myself and my honor, meaning that if I'm walking down the street with a beautiful woman and 3 men want to attack her, I have to risk my life now. I can't live my life letting my wife get gang raped on a fucking street and running away. I can't take it as a man. So I have to now die. I have to die or try. I have no choice. So that's my duty. But they'll ignore that part. They'll ignore the part where I risk my life, right? And they'll say, oh, but you just want to be controlling, misogynistic. No, I have a duty to protect. I'm calmer under pressure because I've been in more unfortunate situations. I've had more trauma in my life, which has trained me to be more calm under pressure. I would hate to meet a woman who's been through as much trauma as I have. That's not the kind of, that wouldn't make her a good woman. I don't think women need trauma at that level. I don't want women who've been stabbed. There's no need for that. But I have been through it. So I think that in my experience, extrapolation, that men who are successful, a lot of them have been through enough for me to trust them more in a high pressure situation. And like I said, this comes with massive responsibility. This comes with massive detriments and downsides, right? And the feminists are like, no, you're controlling. It's not about controlling. It's about duty. There was no feminist on the Titanic. Then men can die. There's no feminist to this day in Ukraine. The Ukrainian women can leave. You'll see them partying in Warsaw and Prague. Ukrainian men can't leave the country. They're dying in a ditch.
Yeah. I mean, can't you just see why they hate this guy, though? They hate this guy because he's so right on so many things. And it's stuff that you don't, oftentimes in the modern world, people who've kind of ingested the bias of academia and ingested modern feminism, you don't want to hear the reality. But how refreshing, honestly, to hear a guy say that it's his duty to protect you, that if you're walking down a street and he's there and he's with someone who he considers his girl, that it's his job to risk his life. At one point he says in the video, I have to die for, and he means it. I believe that he means it. How unbelievably refreshing to see a guy like that in a world where everyone wants you to embrace the guy who runs with you, who sees the danger and like, oh my, let's call the cop, let's get out of here. The guy who's just as afraid of the tarantula as you are. They want that. They want that dynamic because, again, you have to castrate those guys in order to weaken society at large, in order to create a class of dependents that is growing and growing and growing. We know that. We've established that. But how refreshing to hear somebody talk like that. This guy's got to drive them mad. He's got to drive all the guys who are less than mad. The guys who don't want that responsibility. They're lazy. They don't feel confident in themselves. The guys who don't feel they'd be able to step up to the plate. He's got to drive them crazy. He's got to drive the women crazy who are out there being like, I don't need a man. I could go to a sperm bank, but really know in their heart of hearts that they do want one and they would benefit so much from a true, marriage or a situation where they could lean on men for the things that men should be able to provide and are good at. Very refreshing, I have to say, to hear a guy speak so openly about the duty to protect. I love it. I'm not embarrassed to say that. And I love a guy who says, my job is to take care of my family. What is wrong with that? If there's something wrong with that, you got to do some self-reflection. What are you looking for? What are you really looking for? A guy that says, oh, no, I don't know. Let's just split the bill, I mean, is that appealing to you? It's not. You know it. You know it. So have you been programmed to think this is bad? Really sit and absorb what he's saying and make a decision for yourself. Does it really bother you all that much? I'm not bothered by that at all, to be perfectly honest. And I'm sitting here as someone who I do feel is empowered, who has the job and the microphone. And I'm like, I love a guy who gets to be a guy, gets to do what he is supposed to do and what makes him feel good to do. If you like the short clip, you can catch another one here, or you can catch the full episode right here.